UEFA Champions League is back. And while everyone is talking about the heavy hitters like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich or Manchester City, or even some of the returning faces like Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea and Newcastle United, perhaps the real drama might actually come from the unlikeliest of places, the Arctic Circle. Bodo Glimt are in the Champions League for the very first time in their history, and the big question I think everyone needs to ask is, can this underdog Norwegian side make it through the group stages? Because let me tell you, the boys in yellow are heavily unfancied. The odds are stacked against them big time, with most bookies giving them roughly a 30% chance to finish between 9th and 24th, which would be enough to qualify them for the UCL playoffs. If last season was anything to go by, you'd need at least 11 points in this new league-style format to stand even a small chance of making it. The likes of Brest and Club Brugge managed it last season, but can Bodo Glimt join that exclusive group this time around? Let's find out in this UEFA Champions League preview. If you clicked on this video, then it means you are a massive fan of Champions League football. And if that's the case, then I think it would make absolute sense for you to become part of the SportyTrader community by first of all sticking around, leaving a like on today's video, subscribing to the channel, and most importantly, hitting that bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Now that's all out of the way, let's dive right in. Bodo Glimt are not just any underdog. This is a club that has completely redefined Norwegian football. 3 league title wins in the last 4 years, a historic run to the Europa Conference League quarterfinals in 2022, and a reputation for fearless attacking football. This is a team that has beaten the likes of Roma, Celtic, and AZ Alkmaar in Europe, proof that when the lights shine brightest, they can deliver. And that continental credibility was cemented last season in the Europa League. Glimt produced one of the most remarkable runs in the competition's history. They beat heavyweights like FC Porto in the group stage, took Manchester United to the wire in a 3-2 defeat at Old Trafford, and then knocked out Olympiacos in the round of 16. Their quarterfinal against Lazio became the stuff of legend. Glimt held on across 2 legs and won a dramatic penalty shootout to reach the semi-finals before their run finally ended against the eventual champions Tottenham Hotspur. Those are not cocky claims, they are hard results that prove that this side can handle knockout pressure on massive European nights. And this season's Champions League qualification did not come by accident either. Glimt navigated the qualifying gauntlet and then made a massive statement in the playoffs. A stunning 5-0 home demolition of Sturm Graz in the first leg and a 6-2 aggregate win sealed their place in the Champions League phase. A sign that their European momentum is real and carries into this campaign's ambitions. Put it all together and you've got a side that is a genuine dark horse story in this season's Champions League. But it's not all roses though. There are some obvious strengths in this Bodo Glimt side, but there are also some very glaring weaknesses. Let's start with the positives. Offensively, Glimt are electric. They currently lead the elite series in attack with 58 goals with some serious talents in there. Kasper Hogg has been lethal up front, leading the scoring charts with 16 goals. Support for him also comes from a deep pool of attackers. Jens Petter Haug has also added a useful 5 goals, and the veteran Ulrik Saltnes has been productive from midfield with 7. That is multiple goal sources and a real variety in how they can hurt opponents. Midfield leaders like Patrick Berg and Hakon Evgen bring steal and work rates, simultaneously shielding the attack and helping recycle possession when Glimt press high, ultimately resulting in an average of around 63% possession per game, the highest in the league this season. They also managed to show their attacking punch in Europe, finishing 3rd in the Europa League for expected goals. Massive proof that their attack and chance creation holds up even against much stronger opponents. But here's the flip side. Defensively, Glimt have been fragile. And honestly, that's even putting it mildly. In Europe last season, they conceded a whopping 25 goals, and against higher caliber Champions League opponents, that sort of record will surely be punished. Their backline has also been rotated quite frequently this season, with Odin Bjortoft with 18 appearances, Jostein Gundersen with 14 appearances, and Fredrik Bjorkan with 20. And while those particular defenders certainly put in work, the unit lacks consistent top-level experience needed when the margin of error is really tiny. Which finally brings us to the man behind it all, Kjetil Knutsen. He is the true mastermind of Glimt's fearless attacking style and aggressive press. But even Knutsen has his shortcomings. He's been heavily criticized for refusing to compromise his attacking philosophy, and that exact stubbornness, while making Glimt so entertaining to watch, also leaves them extremely vulnerable when the margins get thin. So, who really stands in Bodo Glimt's way of making it to the knockout stages of the UCL this season? Well, we know the top 8 cruise into the knockout rounds, but for clubs like Bodo Glimt, the real battle is finishing somewhere in that 9th to 24th zone, which earns you a spot in the playoffs. But here is where the direct comparisons to both Club Brugge and Brest become extremely crucial. Brugge managed to clinch a playoff spot with 11 decisive points, demonstrating that high-level European football is certainly possible for even lesser celebrated clubs. Brest went even one better, pulling off one of these stories of last season. They stunned PSV at home, produced an incredible 4-0 demolition of Salzburg away, and managed to hold Leverkusen to a draw in France. That particular run saw them rack up 13 points in total, finishing level with the eventual winners PSG, and even above some genuine heavy hitters like Juventus and Manchester City. That is exactly the kind of inspiration Glimt need to tap into, and they've managed to get off to a decent start, holding Slavia Prague to a draw away from home. Looking ahead, the rest of their Champions League calendar is brutal but full of opportunity. Next up, they face Tottenham Hotspur at home, a repeat of last year's Europa League semi-final showdown, and that's the kind of game where the Asmira's unique edge could make all the difference. Then comes a trip to Galatasaray, another fortress atmosphere that will seriously test their resilience. After that, they are back in Bodø to host Monaco and Juventus, 2 fixtures that could very well decide their playoff hopes. Then there's a daunting away trip to Borussia Dortmund, an even tougher battle at home against Manchester City, and after all of this, finally Bodo travels to Atletico Madrid to close out the group campaign. The message is clear: dominate at home and scrape what you can on the road. That's the only way to stay alive in this format. They will definitely have to max out their home advantage in Norway, and make no mistake, playing in Bodo is unlike anywhere else in Europe. The Aspmira Stadium, sitting above the Arctic Circle, is notorious for its brutal winter conditions, which is exactly why the club installed a synthetic pitch all the way back in 2006. And this artificial surface has since become one of Glimt's greatest weapons. Playing on it, they've won 31 of their 38 European matches at home, and they've taken 29 wins from their last 35 continental home games overall. For visiting sides, it is certainly a shock. The ball zips faster, the footing feels different, and combined with the freezing air and passionate fans, it truly becomes suffocating. As defender Odin Bjørtoft put it before last year's semi-final against Tottenham, playing here at home is a big advantage for us because I don't think a lot of teams are prepared for what's coming. The ball goes really fast here, and that's a key object for us. That unique edge means Glimt don't just need to take points at home, they need to make the Aspmira a real fortress, exactly like Brest did in France and Bruges did in Belgium. But you have to remember, Glimt are not just competing against the big household names. There's also a cluster of dark horses circling that same qualification zone, some of which admittedly are more seasoned performers than the Norwegians. Copenhagen consistently grind results out on the European stage. Union Saint-Gilloise, another Belgian side, brings a direct, high-intensity game plan that mirrors Glimt's own energy. Pafos, the Cypriot upstarts, punching well above their weights, and even Club Brugge again, who've shown that they can repeat the trick this time around. These are exactly the rivals Glimt have to outpace. Not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but it will require a certain level of consistency, especially in tight games. So, do we think Bodo Glimt can do it? Absolutely we do. Don't get me wrong though, they are not going to be challenging any of Europe's giants, but we believe they are more than capable of finishing in the playoff spots. And at odds of 3.25 to qualify, the bookmakers might be cautious, but given Bodo Glimt's trajectory, we certainly won't be backing against the Arctic miracle. So there you have it. Bodo Glimt are all set to take on Europe's elites. But what do you think? Can the Norwegians shock the world and make it to the knockout stages? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. To stay up to date with the entire 25-26 UEFA Champions League season, make sure to check out our website SportyTrader.com, where we'll have all of the latest updates. And guys, if you enjoyed today's video, then please make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel SportyTrader, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.